Hi guys, welcome back to this channel. So this is the tiered gown that we're going to be making today, and guys, this is one of those gowns that everyone needs to have in their closet. It is very easy to make. So without wasting much of our time, let's get into the cutting proper. I would like to begin by cutting the two layer of this gown. So I'm making use of this 2 yards of white fabric, and since I've not cut out anything from it before, it makes it very possible to get the desired length that I want in terms of making the gathers. That's why I'm beginning with the cutting of the layers. After that, I'll go ahead and I'll cut the first half of this gown, which is the upper part of it. I'll measure the half length, 9.5. I'll take the nipple to nipple measurement. This gown is for a 9-year-old and she has the body of an adult, so I'll be using 4 inches as her nipple to nipple point. She really doesn't have bust yet, but then it is very necessary to have some of these little details. So I'll be taking her bust point at this point, so you can see that my tape is 5 inches outside of the fabric. It is going to be the strap that we're going to attach externally. So I marked her bust point, and then also I indicated the nipple to nipple measurement on that bust point, and also at this point I'll be taking 4" as the nipple to nipple measurement or nipple to nipple points. So I'm just going to connect the points together this way. If you are an adult, you can also make use of this process because it's going to give you an amazing result at the end of the day. So at the tip, I'm going to be taking 1/2 inch on both sides, and then I forgot to take the under bust length, so I'll just mark this for the under bust. So that's the under bust length. So the 1/2 inches that I took there, I'm going to be also taking the 1/2 inch on both sides. Then I'll just make some connections like this, meeting at the bust point. So if you're an adult at this point, or you want to make this style for yourself as an adult, you could use 1.5. Just like I took half on both sides, you could take 1.5 or 1 on both sides. Then I'll come down as well. I'll take 1/2 inch on both sides, and I'll link it up with the point that I already have. So as an adult, you just need to work with your nipple to nipple point, and then you work with your under bust measurement at this point. But the difference between your measurement and this measurement that I'm working with is that I went on both sides. I went by 1/2 inch on both sides. So I'm going to be taking her bust measurement at this point. Take her waist measurement at this point. So next thing, I'm going to be cutting out this 1/2 inch, so I'll include it in the body of my fabric. This half also, I'm taking it out, so I'll include it to make allowance for that. And then this half as well, I'm going to be including it. So as I'm cutting out those 1 inch away, I've already included it in our fabric, in our style. So from that point, I added extra 1.5 allowance. Then I'm just going to connect the points again together. You can see that we are cutting this one away already. So over to the back, I already have my fabric folded into 2, so I'm going to take the same measurement, 9.5. I'm going to be taking my zipper allowance. I'm using 1 inch for the zipper allowance or the zip allowance. So this point is for the zip allowance. From that point, I'm going to be taking the bust measurement, the waist measurement, and then I'm going to be taking the dart point, dart. So this point that I marked as a dart point is also 4 inches, like the nipple to nipple measurement for the front part of it. So I'm also going to be adding 1.5 inch allowance as well, like I added for the front part. So for the dart point, I marked 4 underneath. I'm also going to mark 1 at the top side of the neck region. Then I'll connect them together. So I'm going to mark half on each of the sides. So I want you to take note of how I am connecting the points together, connecting the half points underneath, how I'm connecting it to the top side of our measurements. This is how it is. So I'm going to make a notch there. So on the zip part, I'm going to be taking out at least half of an inch from that point to avoid zip bulge. This is another way that I handle my zip bulges from appearing on a dress. So I'm going to be deepening the back neck by at least 1 inch, just to deepen it a little to look different from the front neck. So I'm going to hold it together like this and sew. So this is the back, this is the side of the front, this is the middle part of the front, this way. So over here I have the layers that I'm going to be attaching to the first half. This is the first layer that I'm going to be attaching to this first half. I had to fold it because my work table wasn't enough to take all of the length that I cut out. So for this first layer, I cut 2 of this first layer to get the second layer. So as you see the second layer, it is double of the first layer. So I already cut out my lining piece for the parts of the front and the back already. So I'm going to be working with the lining. This is the back and its lining. This is a part of the front and the lining. This is the back and the lining. So for the front, I'm going to begin with the front. First of all, so I'm going to be laying the side of it. So I'm going to hold a side of it and the middle part together. Then I'm going to pin it all the way to the top. Just watch what I'm doing, please. This is one side of it. I'm going to add this one as well. So I'll head over to the sewing machine and I'm going to be sewing this way. Then on the second part as well. I'll do the same thing for the lining. I'm going to spread it, add one of the sides, sew from the top to the bottom, add the second side, do the same thing for the second side. So over here, this is one of the pieces, this is the lining, and this is the main fabric we're going to be working with. So this measurement is to determine where I'm going to be attaching my straps. So I already prepared my straps and I'm going to be making use of these straps that I made. So I pinned it down at the point where I joined the middle and the edges of the front part. This is the strap. I'm going to be attaching the second one at exactly on that point as well. Then I'll pin it down. So after pinning it, I'm going to take the lining that I already joined. Then I'm going to be laying it on the main fabric that we're working with like this. Then I'm going to head over and pin it all the way just to hold it in place for us to work with. I'm going to head over to the sewing machine and sew this way. Close the side, close the other side, turn it using the down side. I'll do the same for the back side. This is the back side. I'm going to be attaching the straps as well. So I measured to see where I'm going to be attaching the straps to, and then I'm going to be attaching it this way. Also hold it down with pins. Do the same for the second side. Hold it with pins, and then I'm going to be taking the linings for each of the pieces. Then I'm going to be attaching it to each of the piece of the back. You can see that the necks are aligned with the neck, the sides to the sides, and vice versa. So I'm going to begin from the zip side of it. I'm going to sew this part. This is the zip throughout to the neck, to the armhole, down to the side, and turn it using the down side. Do the same thing for this side, and then turn it using the down side as well. So this is what the front looks like with the straps attached already, neatly done. And this is the other side of it. So I'm going to be showing us how the back also looks like. This is the back with the straps as well. I'll head over and then I'll do the darts, and then I'm going to be laying the front to it this way. Make sure that they align. Then afterwards you can head over and close the both sides using your bust measurements and your waist measurement to close it down. I'll show you what to do afterwards. So after closing the side, this is what it looks like. This is a provision for the bust. This is already neatly joined. So the next thing I'm going to head over to bring in the first layer that we're going to be working with. So I went ahead and I ran some loose gather stitches at the edge of this first layer. So I'm going to be making some gathers before attaching it to my first half. So be careful at this point not to cut out your thread, because if it's cut out and you don't know how to manipulate, you're going to head over to your sewing machine again and run some more stitches, and it's very discouraging and disappointing. So I've been able to evenly spread my gathers around and then just making sure that it fits the first half of this gown before I head over to the sewing machine to close it up. So for some persons, they like to close it up like this just to sew them directly on the half cuts, the first half cut, but I prefer to turn it to the other side and just hold it down together like this. So whichever one you prefer, it is very okay. So this is the first layer, and then I had already made the gathers for the second layer. So I'm going to be spreading the gathers as well, and I'm going to be attaching it to the end of the first layer like what I am describing in this video. So you're just going to head over to your sewing machine and just attach it like you're seeing me demonstrate. I'm going to sew around it. After that, I'll show you what it looks like. This is what it looks like. This is the first and the second layer, and there's a half cut, and these are the straps. So turning to the other side, this is what it looks like. Next, I'm just going to head over and use the zip. Before I use the zip, I'm just going to go to my sewing machine again and close it underneath, just fold it underneath, then use my zipper, and that will be all for this gown. So guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. You know I love to read your comments, your concerns, your suggestions will be very much appreciated. And if you're coming across my channel for the first time, I would love you to subscribe, give my video a thumbs up, like and share. Also, if you're looking for a video that explains how you can cut your princess dart bustier from scratch to finish, I'll be leaving the link in the description below. Do well to check it out. Thank you guys for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.